Hi guys, this is Shane from Corby85 The Stories. Have you ever felt like life's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle and someone's controlling all the pieces rather than yourself, and not just for you but for the whole world? Have you ever heard of the Illuminati? People say that these are the very people which are controlling everything. So first off, what do you actually think when you actually hear the word Illuminati? Is it secret weird handshakes, the triangle, the all-seeing eye on the back of a dollar bill, for celebrities, world domination? Well, that's quite a few of the actual conspiracy theories, what people believe. From 1776, the Illuminati was formed in Bavaria, which is part of Germany. The Black Forest and all the Black Forest Gatto, my favourite dessert. Love the cherries and chocolate. But on all seriousness, it was a secret organisation back then, and it's controlled things supposedly ever since. So what I'm going to do now is just go through a few of the major events in the world and give a bit of an explanation and how that potentially links into the Illuminati, and I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. So what we're going to start with first is the French Revolution. You've probably heard of it, you've heard of the film Les Miserables, and if I pronounce that right anyway, I'm not very good with names, as you're going to find out on this channel, but you know, Marie Antoinette let them eat cake. She was beheaded when the French people, or peasants so to speak, revolted. They're well known for their protests, and that was one of the biggest ones in the world history. But people think the Illuminati was actually behind this, which is a crazy thought really. The historians argue that the royal family just lost touch with reality. It's a bit like modern day politics, to be honest with you. Wherever in the world you are, we always think that the people in control of our lives are just not with it. They don't even know how much a loaf of bread is anymore. That's how it felt to the people back in France when the revolution started, and yeah, the rest is history. But from the Illuminati point of view, people think that they was controlling things because they don't like royals being in control of countries. They are a very scientific based approach. They don't mind the church, but they want that to be separate to state, so it's two separate things, and that's all part of their global world domination, so one world order sort of thing, what you're going to keep hearing throughout this video. Let's move on to another revolution, the American Revolution, which is the founding of the United States of America. You've probably seen a lot of things, films, documentaries, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, all that type of thing. Well, people say the Illuminati are in control of that as well. So there's quite a bit more evidence to back this up, which people actually feels a bit more credible than the French Revolution theory. You've seen the back of the dollar bill, the all-seeing eye in the little pyramid. That's a major Freemason symbol, and two of the founding fathers who signed the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, they were both Freemasons. It's a known fact they were Freemasons. So they link into the same sort of scenario as Illuminati. They want the global one world sort of government, one person in control, the new world order. So I will move on to World War I and World War II. You know the official stories, you know why World War I and World War II were actually caused from the history books. I'm not going to go over that in too much detail because this is more of a conspiracy channel and the unexplained history. So you know what actually happened, but people actually say this was all controlled by the Illuminati. It's just part of their process of creating a one world government, so basically causing the entire world to all be chaos and everyone wanting peace eventually after the war. Right, let's move on to the 1960s and a bit more of a science sort of theme now, because we're talking the space race. So Russia, America, they're the big players. Russia was beating America with everything. They got the first people up in space, started with animals, went to humans, Yuri Gagarin, if I pronounced his name right. But then the next step up was going further through the Van Allen belt, if I pronounce that right again, which is just a mass radiation sort of protection of the Earth, what stops the horrible things from the sun coming in and causing us to basically get instant skin cancer and just boil and things. So the Apollo missions aim to actually get through the Van Allen belt and go to the moon. It's a bit of an ordeal, really. It's very dangerous, the massive amount of radiation, but they managed it, if you believe the true what NASA actually said anyway. There's a lot of conspiracies that the moon landings were faked basically to beat Russia, but we'll cover them on another video. The Illuminati was controlling NASA, trying to rush this to beat Russia, but then the major reason was as a distraction, so they can do what they want down here whilst we're all watching up there, and that's most simple way I can possibly put it, really. We'll move on to the Fidel Castro regime in Cuba and the Bay of Pigs invasion, which was an attempted removal of Fidel Castro from Cuba, but it was a massive failure. JFK took the heat on this, so he lost a lot of political power due to this. It's not necessarily that what's caused the issue, but people argue the Illuminati and CIA, because they're heavily linked together. I didn't mean to make the pyramid. I'm not the Illuminati, I promise. The Illuminati made this happen, supposedly sabotage the whole mission to basically make JFK's power a lot weaker. And the evidence for this is one of JFK's actual speeches, where he actually said he would like to splinter the CIA into thousands of pieces. And he also wanted to do a similar thing for the Federal Reserve, which basically controls all the money for America. So quite a lot of powerful people in the background. So where does this all link in? JFK, Illuminati, CIA. The JFK assassination was supposedly caused by the Illuminati controlling the CIA, because they didn't want the CIA, which is the big powerful entity what's controlled by the Illuminati, to actually be splintered into 1,000 pieces. The main arguments on the lone gunman Lee Harvey Oswald, he was basically shot a couple of days later in the police station by someone called Jack Ruby. There's all sorts of weird conspiracies about some sort of CIA involvement with him. He was being controlled, and then later some CIA person went into his prison cell and made him go clinically insane. I don't know the truth on this, but that's all the rumours. So it's just all weird mess with CIA involvement all over it. Okay, so now let's put the tinfoil hat on. But there's a massive link where one of the veterans for the Bay of Pigs, on his deathbed, quite a lot of years later, actually confessed to some sort of insider knowledge, potential personal involvement in the assassination of JFK, led by the CIA. Let's move forward now to present day. Celebrity culture. The Jay-Z, Beyonce, the Lady Gaga, you've all seen in the videos and things for doing this. There's also something like that. I'm not 100% sure what they do, but it's all supposedly linked into the Illuminati. People argue these are people what probably don't respect the quality of their music to speak for itself, and that's the reason why they're famous, but they've made a deal with the Illuminati to become so powerful and make their music win awards and be so amazing. And then they've got world domination. This is just all a big deal controlled by the Illuminati. This is probably a lot less credible, and more the fact that people know the Illuminati are this big mysterious organisation. So if these celebrities do their own sort of weird free press sort of thing with these, and pretending they're linked into these organisations, it makes them look so much cooler. A bit like all the gangster rappers with the guns and things like that. I personally think it's a load of crap, but I'll leave that for you to decide anyway. Are they linked? I'm probably going to get roasted in the comments. I don't know. Right, so I've covered quite a lot of years in this, waffled on a bit too much. This is my first ever on-face video, and you guys on YouTube are the only ones what's going to see this for now. I do the shorter videos on social media like Facebook, TikTok, but the long deep dives into the subjects are purely for you guys on YouTube. So if you've watched this right to the end, I want to thank you personally. You are with me right from the beginning of this journey. Things will get better as I get more confidence talking to this camera, because it's very weird. I tried to do it with some sort of teleprompter and I sounded, I'm Shane. I sounded ridiculous, so I'm just trying to talk to the camera naturally. I'm going to get better. I'm going to learn. I'm going to make mistakes, but it's going to be a crazy wild journey. I'm going to go through some serious tinfoil hat conspiracies. If you want me to go into the stupid stuff like the flat earth theory, the bloody unicorn, I'll go there. I don't care. Just let me know in the comments. But thank you for watching. I really do mean that.